Welcome back, everybody, to Stocked Up Wrestling this week. I'm your host of the show we've decided to title The Business Decision. JarynDSB, here to guide you in all your wrestling and business decisions. Now, y'all already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. So we're going to get right into it. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, our new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He's finally spoke. And he debuted his big Burberry belt. Now, in him speaking, he reverted back to old classic MJF. Just an asshole of a heel, extremely insulting, extremely degrading, condescending, all those words. Essentially is reestablishing his image as the biggest heel in professional wrestling. And let's fast forward. He does that. He cements that when he attacks William Regal. Now, a couple takeaways from this segment. The big Burberry belt. Now, this is a major heel move, one, because that is an ugly-ass belt. Because, honestly, I was upset at the tease because I was thinking we were going to get a new and improved AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Something not as physically big, but definitely better than the WWE title. I'll say that. You know? So I thought we were going to get a completely new belt. Slightly disappointed we just got the same AEW belt with a Burberry strap. Not a big fan of that. The attacking William Regal. That's what happens, I guess, when you sell your soul to the devil. Another play on in that story. Where does this leave William Regal? Well, we're hearing now all the signs are... Let's not skip MJF's promo. Let's touch on the promo real quick. What did he say? He was going to defend his championship sparingly. It was going to be a prize, essentially. People were not going to see him wrestle for free. Telling us all the things heel champions used to do. He's now telling us he's going to do. It's a shame we've gotten to that point in wrestling, right? But let's go forward. MJF, like I said, reestablishing himself as the greatest heel in professional wrestling today. Who's next on his radar for a challenger? After this whole William Regal thing, it's looking like maybe Daniel Bryan. They're trying to push Ricky Stark, so I would think he's on the radar as well. I would think Moxley would have to be on the radar, seeing as how MJF just took the belt off of him. So I would think those three would definitely round out his list of next possible competitors. William Regal now. Where does this leave Will Regal? Of course, everyone's saying it. All signs are pointing to Big Will going back to WWE. Now, the deal he signed apparently wasn't a long-term deal. Why would you only keep William Regal around for a cup of tea, essentially? Someone with his mind and acumen in the professional wrestling industry deserves a contract essentially that locks him up. Pay him handsomely. Be extremely generous in the money you're giving him, because the knowledge, the training, the foundation he can build for the young wrestlers you have coming up is immeasurable. So a guy like that shouldn't have even been on a deal for anything less than, I'd say, 3 years. That was Tony's first mistake. His second mistake was not having William Regal involved backstage, but having him in an in-ring role. Triple H used William Regal best for where he is right now. Earlier in NXT, we saw William Regal get in the ring a few times. And then after that, he became the general manager. The general manager as in, like, not to say he wasn't when he was getting in the matches, but now he's completely a suit, right? And we saw that, even remember when we had Samoa Joe come in as the enforcer. That didn't last too long, unfortunately. We know what happened there. So William Regal, back to WWE, they're saying. It's looking like all fingers are pointing in that direction, and it makes sense. I'm personally glad because it seemed like after Regal left NXT, it was not the same NXT. And I'm all for basically undoing everything Vince has done deliberately. Like, he fired this person, I'm bringing this person back, and so on and so forth. Do that until we can right this ship completely. And that's basically all I have to say on that. It was a correct move bringing William Regal back. If he is officially going back, it's the correct move. NXT, he's the cherry on top, essentially. Triple H has, I think, done behind the scenes what he wants to as far as putting in charge who he wants in charge in NXT. And I think William Regal is that final piece. That's Triple H's boy. I'm sure he's going to be glad, ecstatic to have him back backstage, behind the scenes, pulling strings and helping him develop talent, along with Shawn, along with Road Dogg, and along with Matt Bloom, and so on and so forth. So this should be good for NXT. I'm excited to see what they can do going forward from this. Real quick, let's touch on something. Roman Reigns, Survivor Series, War Games. Something happened where he wasn't too happy. Supposedly there was a spot, not supposedly, it happened. There was a spot during the match where Kevin Owens slapped Roman Reigns. And apparently it was a pretty hard slap. Roman Reigns possibly might have ruptured an eardrum. After the match, it was said Roman Reigns was furious backstage. I guess he, for lack of a better term, was back there throwing a tantrum because of this unplanned spot where Kevin Owens slapped him too hard and possibly ruptured his eardrum. Now, in the mix of things, in the middle of the match, watching it happen, you don't think anything of it because it goes along with the match. And that's probably what Owens was thinking. Hey, this works in the match, so I'm going to do it. Slap. But in Roman's mind, he's thinking, hey, we didn't plan this, so we probably shouldn't be doing this, or this is probably not going to happen. And then, next thing you know, slap. Here's my thing. In wrestling, there has to be cooperation. There has to be agreement in order to tell the story, in order to get the story over to the fans in the most palatable manner, right? In doing that, sometimes you have to improv. That's essentially 90-95% of professional wrestling. Improv. Not everything is going to go according to plan all the time. Sometimes you got to read the crowd. Sometimes you got to feel the energy in the ring and the people around you. Sometimes certain situations call for certain things. And in the middle of that face-off, that stare down, that back and forth between those two, a slap seemed pretty apropos. And it did the job because it stunned Roman at the time. So I get why he might have been mad going off script, but it's professional wrestling, bro. It's improv. It rocked with the moment. The crowd got the ooh. You sold it. Owens made sure you sold it. No harm, no foul, right? I mean, your eardrum, I'm sure you've gotten worse injuries. It's professional wrestling. Shit happens. He didn't intentionally mean to rupture your eardrum. He just felt the slap would have enhanced the moment. That's all it was. So, Roman, stop being a bitch, man. You the champ. Don't be a bitch. Real quick, Ricky Steamboat. He came back. He teamed up with Dax. I think it was for Big Time Wrestling. I'm not too sure on all the details, but Ricky Steamboat, an all-time great. It's anytime you hear about an all-time great still being able to go and still being able to do at least the basics in the ring, still execute those fundamentals to an extent where they can still get the product over, get themselves over in a way that, yeah, it's nostalgia is going to help them, but when they can still put forth that good effort, that good enough effort, it's always good to see. Ricky Steamboat, I think everyone loves Ricky Steamboat. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Ricky Steamboat, honestly. But besides that, we all know Ricky was a phenomenal in-ring talent. And even if you weren't around when he was at his height, there's tons and tons and tons of footage on Ricky Steamboat. And his greatest rival, Ric Flair, I love Ric Flair. Ric Flair is one of my personal top 5s as far as wrestlers. So I love watching him and Ricky Steamboat. Those are some of my favorite matches probably ever. So outside of that, Ricky, if you're going to come back for one more match, please do it right. For a final match, please do it right. Tony Khan, I saw him wanting to book Ricky Steamboat in his final match. I would hope Ricky Steamboat would avoid getting on that boat and just stick with the beast, stick with WWE. You know they're going to do right by you. You know they're going to take care of you. They may not do right by and take care of other legends, but Ricky Steamboat, they're going to take care of him. So I don't think he got nothing to worry about. What's next on the docket? Oh, free agency moves. So Eric Young is supposedly headed back to WWE, and his departure from TNA was a bit weird. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'll get to it. Some of you may have seen the video. He was killed off. This is a professional wrestling show. I wouldn't say nationally televised, but if you have the network, you have it. I'm sure you got to pay a couple extra bucks to get it. Eric Young was killed off on TNA television. Eric Young will be going back to WWE. We're not sure in what capacity. I would hope they would be giving that Sanity group another try. Now, I know it's not really certain what they could have been because they never really got traction in WWE to begin with. But Nikki Cross is back as who Nikki Cross used to be. Bring Eric Young back. I'm not sure if Killian Dane is even still there. There's probably a couple people on the roster you can probably throw into the mix there that would fit and then push the group. NXT's kind of crowded. I'm not sure where they fit in on the main roster. And this is where it gets kind of tricky. You start bringing people back, and then it's like, now where do they fit in? Triple H got a decision to make. And we're just here to watch in hopes that he makes the right business decision. Speaking of business decisions, Cain Velasquez was recently released from prison and found himself down in Arizona at a AAA show. And the crowd was rocking with him. Standing ovation. They loved him. Now we all know why Cain was in the situation he was in. I'm sure if you Google it, there'll be thousands of results. So AAA, they bring out Cain Velasquez. Don't ask me who was competing in the matches. After the match, he did a little promo to the crowd in English, then in Spanish, and the crowd went up for him. It's good to see Cain Velasquez free. He deserves to be a free man, if you ask me. Did what any man would do in the situation he was in. That's just me. But outside of that, I got nothing else for you. I'm JarynDSB. This is the business decision. Stocked up wrestling. We got an empire going over here. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Telegram. telegraph, telewrestler, telephone. Hello. Goodbye. Also, don't forget, Stocked Up Pod, new episode Tuesday. Y'all, sit by the computer. Wait for it. 6 p.m. It's dropping. It's going to just pop up right on your screen. And then on that video, too, make sure you hit the like. Drop a comment. Hit the subscribe button if you ain't already subscribed. You already know the deal. Man, I'll see y'all later.